Okay. All right. I'll also record just in
Oh,
case the
I see
quality
chat
is
now.
better.
Sorry.
Perfect. All right. So this is a different kind of class than we normally do, mainly because I'm not going to show as much. You're just going to hear more of me talking, which is always wonderful. So if you haven't met me before or been to one of these, my name's Tim. This is in conjunction with the Peterborough Town Library. And this class is our attempt to go over some games you can play online with friends and family while you are stuck inside. There are too many options to list, and I have honestly probably listed too many options in this as it is. So definitely feel free to, if you've given Mary your email, she'll give you a copy of this presentation. Feel free to go back and kind of look at these on your own time. I've included a lot of links to where you can get the various games, and I have a short description on some of them of what they are. So definitely feel free to go back and pick what you want to learn more about. And you can always ask about a specific game as we're going through it, and I can give you some idea of what it is. I have not played all of these games. One of the things I did is I went through a lot of like top 10 and top 20 lists of various articles where they basically put together a list of what they thought good games would be to play during the quarantine. All right, so here is most of what we're gonna quickly run through. I have listed the price, and I've also divided it into two categories. The first category is games that you will play on your phone. This is like an iPhone or an Android phone, and games that you will play on the computer or games that you will play on the browser. All right. So the first thing I want to talk about is kind of the whole point of this is to communicate with friends while you're doing this. And if you're on a computer, it's slightly more difficult than if you're on a phone, because if you're on a phone, you just call them. If you are on a computer, you can use Discord, or you can use what we are currently using, which is Zoom. Either work. Both of these have links to the various websites. One thing to note is most of the Android games, so most of these phone games, will actually allow you to play them in a Chrome browser. So you don't necessarily need to have your phone out, or if you want a bigger screen, you can play them just in your browser. I guess one thing I should talk about before going into the games is I personally don't have phone calls with my friends. So after college, a lot of my friends, we all scattered across the country, and we don't talk on the phone.
Sorry
But what
about
we
that.
do is we will play games together. And I'm not saying that we're like playing games. We're not actually playing the games to play the games. We're playing the games as a way to do something with each other while talking. So we'll spend like 2 hours playing a game, and basically it's just something we can do while we are communicating with each other. And I personally like it. I think it's more involved than like seeing a movie. And some have like storylines, so it's kind of like a book in that respect. And I think it's just a really good thing to kind of keep your mind active while you're talking. But personal preference. All right, the first one we're going to quickly talk about is Draw Something. This is a iPhone and an Android game. It's free. The negative part of it is it does have ads. The premise of the game is someone will draw something, and everyone else will have to guess what the drawing is. There is a way to cheat. which is to draw the word, but then that's no fun. And if you see here, I have Android and iPhone, so whichever you have, you can click on it, and it will take you to a page, and you can kind of watch the video where it goes over like, this is fun. And it's only 25 seconds, so I'll just let it play. So most of these games will have kind of that short little introduction video that you can watch. They will also kind of talk about some of what the game is about. So you can read this and see if it's something you'd be interested in, and you can always look at reviews. Most of the negative reviews on this game are that it has ads in it. So most of the free things you'll see in this will have some sort of advertisement. Words with Friends 1 or 2. I have personally played this game, and it's basically Scrabble, and it's free, and it's a lot of fun. I do not like Scrabble, but for some reason, I enjoy Words with Friends. So again, we have the links to the two games, and this is a game where you can play with friends. You just invite them to your game and you can play against them. And again, it's fun. I like it. And if you like Scrabble, I would definitely check it out. This one I'm going to mispronounce, but it's Terraria. This, unfortunately, is a paid game. You can play it on your phone, and you can play it on your computer, so with a bigger screen. To play with friends, you need to be using a computer, at least partially, and it's pretty easy to set up. But let's take a look at what it looks like. It is a tiny little game where, let's see if I can maximize this, where it's kind of like a two-dimensional village, and you can travel around, talk to people, you can dig for resources, you can plant gardens, and go on little adventures. This one could easily take up an entire hour talking. If you think the artwork is enjoyable, you can definitely into it or ask me. And it is fun to play with friends. I actually have one friend who has played this for over 4,000 hours. I'll say that again. I have a friend who has played this for over 4,000 hours. I asked him to give me a recommendation or like something to say. And he said, well, I've played it over 4,000 hours. It's pretty good. So take that as you will. Apparently, you can kind of get sucked into it.
Tim, can you tell us what his favorite game is that he's played more?
He has not played any game more, but I will tell you he has stopped playing this game due to another game that is coming up. It just came out. So he has stopped the game that he has over 4,000 hours in to play this new game.
Wow.
So I
That's
feel like
dedication.
I feel like that's probably a pretty good recommendation for the other game as well.
Mm-hmm.
But again, you will have to pay, and this is a game where if friends and family want to play with you, they will also need to buy it. Pokemon Go. So I just added this on here because one, you've probably heard of it, and two, whenever you're not in quarantine, it kind of makes you go outside and walk around. I know family members of mine have absolutely loved this game, and they do not play video games in any way, shape, or form. It is free, and essentially you walk around with your phone, and you look at your phone, and little creatures will pop up, and you'll capture them by throwing a ball at them, and then you'll just try to collect as many creatures as you can. It's kind of fun, kind of therapeutic. It's slow paced, and it's something you can talk about. All right, I see a question. How do you find Terraria on a PC? Let's go back. I have a link here in the video or in the class that Mary will send to you in the slides, and you'll just have to click on the PC icon or PC option, and then you can go to the store page. You would just hit add to cart and buy it. And the cost is forever. So this is a one-time cost of $9.99. I've seen it cheaper, but $10 isn't that expensive, but I have seen it for, I think, $5 whenever it was on sale. And if you want to learn more about it, I definitely recommend looking at some of these videos. Over 3 million copies sold. They'll kind of give you an idea of what happens in the game. The other thing you can do is you can look at the reviews. So if you use Steam, which is what I use, right here, it may be really, really small on your screen, so I apologize, but you'll see recent reviews, 21,158. And these are the reviews within the past 30 days, and it is overwhelmingly positive. It's pretty rare to get an overwhelmingly positive review on this. So take that however you want, but people who play it seem to enjoy it. All right, Jackbox Games. This is kind of a unique situation. Jackbox is a game company that specializes in games that are for the family. So just to show you kind of what I'm talking about. Oh, first of all, iPhone, Android, you can buy them, but I like the big screen. But only one person needs to own the game. Other people can join for free, which is kind of important. So if you want to buy this game or this package of games, your friends and family do not need to buy it to play with you. Or if someone already has it, that's also great. So I will click on the PC link, and I have linked it to the party pack section. So these are different sets of games. They're currently on sale due to the stay-at-home order. And you can kind of click on them and see what types of games they are. I'll just click on the Jackbox Party Pack. Do these also apply to Mac? Some of these will. Jackbox, I believe, is PC only, but Jackbox games also you can buy them for an Apple TV, you can buy them for a PlayStation, you can buy them for Xbox, and then you don't need any special equipment to play with the person who owns it. So I'm just going to click on the Jackbox Party Pack. Scroll down a little bit. Come on. So Jackbox Party Pack, these are the games. They got well known for their You Don't Know Jack game. This is essentially a fun trivia game. And they will keep adding to the games as they go on. So this is a one-time purchase. And if they add any new questions, you'll automatically get them. And I have played You Don't Know Jack, and it was kind of awesome. So basically what you do is someone owns the game. In this case, someone had it on their TV, and everyone got their phones out, signed into the game, and would put answers on their phone, so it was kind of secret. And it was just kind of a fast-paced, good little trivia game. All right, and in here, I also have how to play remotely. They have a specific page dedicated to that. And I also have Android and iPhone. All you do is you would click on this, and whenever you're joining a game, or whenever you start a game, it'll give you a room code. And then you'll just put in your friend's room code, and then you automatically join them. So this is a game that you can play remotely. This is also a game that you can play in the same room, when people start to gather after this stay-at-home situation. All right, so Jackbox games, I would highly recommend looking at this and seeing if there's something that catches your fancy, because there is a lot of options from Jackbox games. And currently they're about $13 per pack, and you will get around 5 games per pack. Mario Kart Tour. If anyone has ever played Mario Kart, I have, and I'm at the point where I am good at it, but if anyone else says that they are good at it, they are probably better than I am. But Mario Kart Tour takes Mario Kart and puts it on your phone. And you can play this with friends. So you can all join the same race and race against each other. We have the Android link and the iPhone link. These are free. Exploding Kittens. This, if you've heard of it, you know what it is, and it's awesome. If you haven't heard of it, it's actually a card game that really, really rose to popularity a couple of years ago whenever the physical card game came out. So they made a iPhone and Android version of it so you can play on your phones. It's a very silly game. You can learn it very quickly. On their website, they say you can learn it in a minute and master it in 5 minutes. And it's kind of like quick, fast-paced, kind of 10-minute card game that you can play with friends. It also has very interesting visuals. And it is drawn by the creator of The Oatmeal. I don't know if you're familiar with that comic, but he's a kind of a funny guy, and it's a very interesting party game. I think I'm also gonna stop doing this presenter view and just go here. All right. Uno. If you haven't heard of Uno, I don't really have much to say. This is Uno. It is a game where you have cards with numbers on them and colors, and you need to match either the number or the color, and whoever gets rid of all their cards wins. It's a fun game, and there is a free version of it for iPhone and Android. Scrabble.
And Tim, is that something?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Is that something that you can play? Uno, can you play that with other people, or is that just
Yep.
like?
Yep.
Okay.
All of these, it took me a lot longer than expected, actually. But all of these games, you have a way of, within the game, basically giving your friends a code so they can play in your game.
Okay.
So yeah,
Great,
you
thanks.
can set this up and play with your friends. So Scrabble Go. I honestly have never played Scrabble Go, and I don't really know why I would have, since I liked Words with Friends to start off with. But if you are a diehard Scrabble fan, you can play Scrabble Go, and it is free, iPhone, Android, and we have the links right here. Quiz Up. As the name would suggest, this is a quiz game. It's fun. I personally prefer Jackbox, but if you don't want to pay anything, you can always join this and get this. And it's a cute little game where everyone can play together, and it's different categories, and you have to answer the questions. So.
Well,
I'll just leave this part.
okay. No? Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
basic quiz game. They do update it fairly regularly. So if you manage to play it enough to where you have seen all of the questions, congratulations. But they will always be adding more. And it's easy to choose to play with your friends. And I used to play this, and it is fun. And I also learned that I really, really suck at history. But ask me science questions versus history and I'll win. Plus it gives people bragging rights. All right, house party. If anyone is familiar with Ellen DeGeneres, I think I said that name right. She did a part of her show on House Party where they played Heads Up. Basically what House Party is it's a video conferencing application for your phone to talk with your friends and family, kind of like Zoom. In addition, it has built-in games to play. Two of the more notable ones are Heads Up and Chips and Guac. Heads Up is a game where, if you've ever watched The Office, there's an episode where they play this, and basically everyone gets a card with something written on it from like a person in history, and they put the card on their head.
So it's busy, so.
And basically you don't know what's written on the card, and everyone else has to say things until you understand or you get who you are. So like if you had Genghis Khan written on your forehead, you could say, well, Mongolian leader conquered most of the world, and then they would guess Genghis Khan, and then, you know, you both would win. And then they also have other games like Chips and Guac, which I'm not really sure what that is because I've never played it. But we have the links to both of those, and it's free. So it's kind of cool. But I would recommend Heads Up. That's a fun little game. Scattergories. One issue I have with Scattergories is it will autocorrect words. So make sure you spell stuff right, because it may autocorrect to the wrong word. And Scattergories, I have linked a how to play video, which is fairly short. I'm not going to show it to you, but it is about 1 minute. Oh, sorry, that's the commercial. But the actual video on how to play is like under 5 minutes. I know that at least. And basically it'll come up with a category and it will randomly assign a letter. And then you have to figure out stuff in that category that begins with that letter. So if it says superheroes and the letter is S, you can do like things like Superman, and apparently I don't know my superheroes, but you want to list as many as you can. And if you have one in your category that someone else doesn't, you get a point. So it can definitely be fun. Now, iMessage. Some people will probably wonder what I'm talking about right now. Others will already know what I'm talking about. And iMessage has the ability to play games in iMessage. There is an icon on the bottom of your phone whenever you're in Messages, and it has the little App Store icon, and you can download apps specifically for iMessage. Unfortunately, you are only able to play these with other people who have iPhones, but there are many, many, many free games to play. So it's kind of like House Party, but it's built into Apple's devices. All right, we have Snapchat. If you're not familiar with Snapchat, it is basically a video and chat application for phones. And its claim to fame was that whenever you sent a message, someone could view it, and then the message would be deleted, kind of giving people a false sense of security. But Snapchat has a lot of games included in it, and it's pretty easy to install. So you just click on one of these links, Android, hit install, and then you can use it. You can link up with your friends and play some games. I have linked here, because this list was already getting way, way, way too long. I have linked some games that Elite Daily has come up with. So you can play tennis, Zombie Rescue Squad, Find My Friends. I like this one. It's like a Where's Waldo. And just a lot of different options if you want to look into it. All right, so the next section is mostly computer games. These aren't computer games. A lot of them aren't computer games in kind of like Halo or Call of Duty or something like that. These are just games that you can play on your computer, which I prefer because I like the larger screen so I can see more of what's going on. Do we have any questions about any of the phone games we just talked about, or that I blazingly quickly said almost nothing about except their names?
So I'm unmuting everyone. Hopefully that will work. And if you have questions, it's not letting me unmute.
So, question. So on these games on the iPad, on the iPhone, are we each individually logging in on our own devices and then it's connecting us through the app or the game, or do we have to use the Zoom platform and sign in through that and then invite friends?
That's a great question. So most of these, I don't want to say all, but most of these essentially allow you to, in the game itself, you'll get a code and then you will give that code to your friends, or you will just link with their profile in the game. As far as talking to them, you'll have to use an outside thing if you want to hear their voice. So you can use, you can just call them on your phone and then start the game, if that answers your question.
That answers my question. Is there, could you Zoom with a screen share and then have them playing on their device at the same time, or?
You could share what is on your device. That may or may not help depending on the game. Generally, both of you will need a smartphone to play these games.
Okay.
So you can't have someone call in with like a landline kind of thing.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And I highly recommend people just to try them out. And most of these will have a mode where you can play with random people. So you can kind of think about it like, oh, I want to play Words with Friends, but you can play with it, you know, for 10 or 20 minutes and see if it's something that you think your friends would like. And then you can invite them to play.
Tim, let me interrupt for a second. We have
Sure.
a question from Ross about security concerns. And would running a VPN be a good policy?
Yeah, so you can always use a VPN. Some of these games will try and link you with people who are closer to you, but that's fairly rare. If you saw in one of the videos I showed, it kind of was like, okay, this person from Texas is playing this person from Louisiana or wherever, or from like Alabama, New York. And it's just kind of neat to be able to see like where the people you're playing against. In terms of security concerns, I'd say if you're at all worried about that, just kind of do what I do and just don't put your full name. So on pretty much everything, my name is Tim B. Partially because as soon as I write my last name down, there's only one of me, so it's incredibly easy to find me. But yeah, if you have any security concerns, VPN is fine. I personally don't use a VPN on my phone, but these will work with a VPN. You may, however, show up as being in, you know, Ukraine or something, and then people may, if you're playing with a random person, they may get all excited because they're also in Ukraine and they want to talk to you about, you know, the local delicacy, and you'll have no idea what they're talking about. All right, did I understand Tim correctly that most of these require a smartphone? Yes, so far, I've basically gone through games that are for smartphones. The next section will be games that you can play on your laptop. As I said very early on, but very easy to miss it, most of these Android games can be played in a Chrome browser. So for example, I can open up Chrome and I can install something like Words with Friends and then play it on my browser instead of actually using a phone. Some people do this if you're hyper competitive because it means it's a lot easier to type. But most of these are optimized for the phone, so you should be fine on that. But yes, most of these you don't, or some of these you don't need a smartphone. You can play them in your browser. All right. So, Scrabble, Monopoly, and other games, I imagine these would be something most people would know about. And one way to do this is to use Pogo, P-O-G-O. I have a link right here. They have an early access site that's a little bit better than their classic site. The only negative thing about this is it has ads, but if you use an ad blocker, it'll fix most of those issues. I don't have an ad blocker on this browser right now, just to show you what it looks like. Sign in. It'll want you to sign in, so create an account. But to find these games, you don't necessarily need an account, so you can look at Scrabble. Oh, it doesn't like it. Let me check. 1 sec. All right. It didn't like that I was in the private mode. But basically, early access pogo.com, and you'll have a multitude of games to play. So Mahjong, they have Solitaire. Scrabble is probably one of their bigger ones. So you can play Scrabble, play now. You would want to have a friend, and you can play it with a friend, or you can play it randomly against random people. But if you want to play Scrabble or Monopoly, these are the two locations for that I found. That's probably the best.
How'd that go, hon?
If anyone has any recommendations for any games that you've played online with friends, feel free to let Mary know, Mary or I know, and we can add those to the end of this list. All right, Stardew Valley. This is a game where you buy it. So again, most of the things I try and find are free, but this one is something you need to pay for. How does my friend connect with me? Okay, so on Pogo, you will create an account. So most of these things, you'll create an account, or if you're using your phone, you'll have your phone number. And basically, once you create an account, there will be an option to invite friends. And then you can either send that your name to a friend, or you can just give them an in-game code. It'll change with each game, but I will say that they make it incredibly easy to have a friend and to invite your friends because they want more people on the platform. So Pogo, you create your account. It will give you a code that you can give other people. The other people can put that in their account, and then your friends. All right, I'm just gonna close the door real quick. All right, sorry about that. I am back. All right, so I can show you how to connect with a friend on one of these services that I use, kind of to give you a better idea of what it is like. Okay, so I will show you how to connect to a friend on Discord, which is what I use to talk to people when I'm online. So all I would do is, and this will be different for every game, but it'll follow kind of the same steps. So I have created an account in Discord. I will click on Add Friend, and I will ask them for their username. And I will then type in their username. So Mary's account is called Mary from Library, and I would just send a friend request. Whenever she would log into Discord, she would get the friend request and she would hit accept, and then we would be friends.
Only if you let me win, Tim.
Yes, that's why we'll never play Words with Friends. But any other game, I'll let you win.
Okay.
All right, RPG, rocket-propelled grenade, very close. I don't know if they have any rocket-propelled grenades in this game, but this is for role-playing game. So Stardew Valley is another one of those games where people spend a lot of time on it. It's kind of like a cathartic, you have a farm, you need to clear the farm, and then you need to grow crops, harvest crops, buy things, make your house better. So it's a whole process. They have recently added the ability to play with your friends. I have a friend who has been trying to get me to play this with him for about 3 weeks now. I bought it, but I have yet to play it. It looks interesting. And we have this option for Steam. So this is personally where I buy most of the stuff. Right now it is $15, and everyone will need to own it. But it's kind of like a cute little old-timey graphics, two-dimensional game where you can go into the mines and get ore. You can communicate with random people, nighttime, daytime. It has kind of like a storyline that you can follow. So this is a more involved game than some of these others, but you can play it with friends, and it's fairly slow paced. Let's see, what is Steam? Okay, Steam is a platform or a store for buying video games. So traditionally, before Steam came around, you would buy a video game and it would come on a CD. You would then take that CD, you would put it into your computer, and you would install the game. But once Steam came along, now you just have an account and you don't even need to remember where that CD is anymore. You basically just log into your account and then you can download whatever game you want. So I can show you what Steam looks like real quick. I'll just need to log into it. And I will make sure to hide some of the more interesting games I play. All right, so as you can see, Stardew Valley, I have yet to play it, but actually my friend is playing it right now when he should be working. All right. Well, Steam is basically an application that you install on your computer, and then you can browse to find games. You can kind of search for a game. You can search for certain types of games. So if I want to play a casual game, I can click on this, and then I'm on free to play right now, but you can just see like, oh, Maple Story, that sounds fun. And then you can click on it and then learn about it and then play it. But the nice thing about Steam is it has a library. So this is where all of your games are. And basically I have way too many.
Really nice.
And I can, if my computer dies today, I can buy a new computer. I can load Steam on it and say, okay, well, I want to play The Deed. I want to play Dirt Showdown, and I'll just download those games and they'll be ready to go. It also keeps your friends in a list, so you can easily join a game with your friends. Yep, Steam is just a platform for buying games and for playing games and for talking with friends while you play games. It's pretty much everything this list wants. But again, Stardew Valley, overwhelmingly positive, which is hard to get, pretty rare, and there's a lot of people who play it. If you have any issues with it, the community seems like it's incredibly nice and they'll help you with it. But again, multiplayer, go at your own pace, kind of a fun, relaxing game. And I did say warning can be addictive, because as you just saw, my friend is during work playing Stardew Valley. I'm sure he'll never see this video though, so he won't know I'm calling him out. All right, so Scribble. One person draws, everyone guesses what the word is. Very simple game. It is free and incredibly easy to play with other people. In fact, we could play it together right now. We're not going to, but I know. So all I would do is enter my name. I'll go with Tim because I am clever. I want to change my color. I want big eyes. Yeah, happy face. And let's go with gray. And create private room. 3 rounds. All right. And then all I do is invite friends. So basically, if you were to join this game, I would put it in the chat, or I would email you somehow, and you would just click on that link. And then you would see other people show up here. So if Mary wants to click on that link just to show what it looks like.
Sure.
Okay. But yeah, people would just click on that link, and then you would create your little character. Once everyone who you wanted to play with got here, you would then hit start game. And it's a fairly simple game. We've kind of gone over games that are kind of like this, but a word will pop up for one person. That person will then try and draw that link or draw that word. So if the word is anteater, I would then try and draw an anteater, and whoever guessed anteater first would get the points along with me for how quickly they guessed it. So I find these kind of one of those fun party games. And it's very easy to play because it's just a website. Highly recommend this. I didn't know about it until last night, and I asked my friends to play it with me. And we had way more fun than expected. I also learned that I am a terrible drawer, like absolutely terrible. But one of my friends is absolutely fantastic at drawing. But again, I was guessing against 3 other people, so it got pretty heated. It was an intense game.
Wow.
Playing
Maybe you're
cards.
Picasso.
Yes, okay, and you have to type the guess, anteater. Yep, so basically you type in your guess, and as soon as someone gets it right and spells it right, that round ends. Or that person's part in that round ends. That person drawing, the next person would then draw. Playing cards, free. I like this one. All right, so this is kind of a very similar website. If you notice .io, playingcards.io. This has a lot of options. You can literally create any game you want. Are synonyms accepted? Maybe. We didn't run into a space where a synonym was marked wrong, but we also didn't run into an issue where there was a synonym, that to my knowledge. All right, so playing cards to IO, there's an incredible amount of options, mainly because you can make your own card game here, but there are ones that are just already created. So you can play checkers with friends, crazy eights, go fish, matchup, and remote insensitivity. The big draw here is remote insensitivity. I cannot show you what this game looks like because it is slightly vulgar. If you've ever heard of Cards Against Humanity, that's what this game is. If you've ever heard of Apples to Apples, Cards Against Humanity is apples to apples with bad cards in it. Yeah, it's a lot of like, even if you don't know about Cards Against Humanity, ask someone to play it if they know about it. And yeah, a lot of people know about this game, and it is incredibly fun. However, I have played this with my wife's grandmother.
No.
And we got to learn a lot about everyone around that table really, really quickly. So you have to have a sense of humor. But again, lots of fun. And it's very easy to join a game. It's just like with Scribble.io, where you just give everyone the link and they just join in. All right, keep talking and nobody explodes. So I have been talking more about the games that I've played, obviously, because I can talk more about them. But this is one of the best games I have ever thought was going to be crap. It's amazing. Do not play this in an airport. That's just me being funny. But only one person needs to own the game. And the only issue with that is basically you load this game on a computer, and the person at the computer is trying to defuse a bomb. Everyone else cannot see the bomb, but everyone else has a manual, and the person who is defusing the bomb needs to describe what it looks like, and the people with the manuals need to tell the person what to do. Oh. This gets incredibly hectic and incredibly fun. There is a short video that I highly recommend you watch. It's 50 seconds, so I'm just going to...
Your friends have the info.
I'm just going to force you to watch it. Hopefully the volume isn't too much. And we will play.
You're looking at the bomb, but you don't have the info to defuse it. Your friends have the info, but they can't see the bomb. Can they talk you through it?
The defusal manual says there's a serial code.
It's not. It should be on the side. I'm looking. 2 players or more, you'll have to communicate if you and the friendship are going to survive. It's the game that's always changing. And the risks rearranging. Find out why everyone's having such a blast.
Yeah.
So that should be a short kind of synopsis of what it's like. It gets crazy. I highly recommend this. The only negative thing is if you are in quarantine like we are now, the person who owns the game is the only person who's able to defuse the bomb. The other people can help them defuse the bomb by using the manual, but you can't physically put the computer into someone else's lap if they're remote or like across the country. But regardless, it's a lot of fun, and I weirdly highly recommend it. You have to print out the manual many times as you want. So basically, whenever you start, the game will pop up with it, say, you are using number. Just make sure you have that manual. I've played this game probably a couple hundred times, and I have only ever had to use the one manual that I printed out to begin with. I printed out 3 copies just so multiple people can have their own copy. Because if everyone's fighting over the one manual, it can get even harder than it needs to be. If 2 owners are playing, yeah, so if I have 4 people who own the game, we can get in Zoom or however we want to talk, and we can all talk to each other, and we basically say, all right, I'm defusing the bomb now. Make sure you have the manual, get ready, go, and then start describing what it looks like. So you only need one person technically to own this to play, but if more than one person wants to defuse the bomb, then each person who wants to defuse the bomb needs to have access to that computer or access to the game in general. Yeah, I cannot overstate how much more fun this was than I thought it was going to be. You also learn a lot about people, like what people do under pressure. It's fun. All right, I'm going to move on. All right, Guild Wars 2. So before this, most of these games are kind of like one-off party games, with the exception of Stardew Valley and Terraria. So this is another like fully fledged game. It is a massively multiplayer online game. So it's kind of like Warcraft, World of Warcraft, if you ever heard of someone talking about WoW. But Guild Wars 2 is free, so you don't have to, pay to see if you like it. Guild Wars 2 is also kind of a slower, more pretty game. When I was in college, I played a little bit of this, and my girlfriend at the time, who does not like computer games, saw it and instantly wanted to play it, and just spent the entire time kind of walking around the world, just meeting all these random people. So I just decided to throw it on here mainly because it's free. So it doesn't have like a $20 cost, and it turns out you don't like it. And I linked the website. It's a pretty big game. It's pretty, and you would just hit the download now button. There are also reviews you can look to see if it's something you'd be interested in, but I'm not going to spend too much time at it. And you can play with however many friends you want, and you can just walk around and talk and do things like gather oranges together. All right. Animal Crossing: New Horizons. If you remember earlier, I said I had a friend who had played way too much Terraria, and that there was a game that he stopped playing Terraria for. This is that game, Animal Crossing.
Oh, yeah.
It kind of, people have described it to me, and it kind of reminds me of Stardew Valley, but you are all animals, and it looks really, really cute. And people I've never played this game, but people apparently love it. So unfortunately, you would have to pay a lot of money to get it. You need a Nintendo Switch, first of all, which is $190. If you already have a Switch, it is $60. This $290 Switch comes with Animal Crossing because it's a bundle. I'm not going to take too much time with it. I'll just show you what it kind of looks like.
Certain wildlife only appears during certain seasons, for instance. And even though Tom Nook calls it the Deserted Island Getaway Package, the only thing you're really getting away from is relaxation. You've got to pay off that loan.
So Animal Crossing is in my eyes, kind of like Stardew Valley, where it puts you in this like really peaceful town, and you just need to do things like plant trees and harvest stuff.
Tim,
and just kind of relax.
For us Nintendo ignorance, what is a Switch?
Great question. So a Switch is so if you've ever heard of like a Nintendo, like the GameCube or the Nintendo 64, basically what they did is they took the Switch and made it so you could hold it in your hand and play, first of all. And you can also dock it with your TV so you can play on your TV. So it's kind of like a handheld thing that you can also just plug it into the TV and have a huge screen. So it looks like this.
All right, thanks. Thanks.
Again, I don't own one. I have played on my other friends who own them. And it's nice, but again, it's a pretty steep entrance cost. All right, jigsaw puzzles. I just added this because I find it hilarious and I love it. But if you like playing jigsaw puzzles, you can solve jigsaw puzzles with your friends. So you would just click here, once again, the .io, and you would hit new puzzle. If you sign in, create an account, you can upload your own puzzle. And then basically you would just start a puzzle and you would hit, sorry, it's cutting the puzzle soon. But you would just hit this invite button at the top, and that would give all of your friends the link to the puzzle. And then you can all just start dragging things and forming the puzzle. So yeah, if you like jigsaw puzzles, this seems pretty awesome. I am not good at jigsaw puzzles, so I will probably not play this just because I'm bad at it. But you can have different size jigsaw puzzles, different amount of pieces are jigsaw puzzles. So you can have a 10,000 piece puzzle, a 3,000 piece puzzle, all that fun stuff. So let's see if I can get one. All right. I'm horrible. All right, let's try this. All right, I'm happy with that. The game isn't though. All right, so anyway, that's how you play the game. It will snap whenever you have the correct piece, not just the ones that you think should be the correct piece. And you can see all these other little hands, and those are the people I'm currently playing with. And no description needed. If you like jigsaw puzzles, that's cool. Deb asked, how do you turn the piece?
Yeah.
And can you enlarge the image? So let's go with this one. So downloading image. Can you make the image bigger? Yes, I can hit the plus button and make it bigger. So I can make it big enough to the point where it's inconvenient. However, rotating the puzzle piece, I think it's just always in the right position. Let's see if, yeah, I'm not seeing any way to turn the piece. Yep. All right, so it looks like it's always in the right position. So it's kind of cheating. But I'm not that good at these anyway, so I need all the help I can get. All right, you have probably heard of Minecraft. I just felt like I needed to add this in here, you know, because you've probably heard of it. So you can buy it for around $30. It's slightly cheaper on some versions, but around $30. Phones, you can download it for $7, and you can also play Classic for free. So you can all assume what I would recommend, is the classic for free. I can invite 9 friends to join me by just copying this code, copy, and giving it. So I would just do that, paste. My friends would click on that, and they would join the game. So username, TB, start. And now I am playing Minecraft. So this is a fairly popular old schoolish game where you just run around, you craft blocks, you make houses, you explore. Yeah, it's fun. I mean, I know people around my age have played this. I never really got into it, but so is me. And it's a fun little building game, exploring game that you can kind of casually just walk around and say, hey, you know, I found a tree, and then everyone can go marvel at the tree, or hey, look at the house I just built. So it can be fun. But anyway, classic in browser is free. What's the ultimate goal? That is a great question. In some versions of the game, there's an ultimate goal, as in you need to find the specific thing. But generally, the ultimate goal in games like Minecraft, in games like Stardew Valley, in games like Animal Crossing, it's kind of you just play it to get what you want out of it. So in Minecraft, your goal may be, I want to build a house and a garden and be able to create food where I can eat, you know, or your goal may be, I want to explore all of the mines, or your goal could be, I want to get to the lava. So it's kind of very open-ended with what the final destination is for these games. The last one I have is Risk. I played this when I was in college. I forget if it was Warzone or Conquer Club, but I will say, if you casually like Risk, you will want to play with friends. So in both of these, I'll just click on this one. In both of these, you can sign in and create an account and invite your friends to play Risk with you. If you play Risk multiplayer, create game, and play with random people, you will get absolutely destroyed, probably, because these people play Risk a lot, and they are very, very good at it. But you can play single player just to kind of play Risk if you want to, and you can create a game and invite friends and play Risk with them. And Warzone and Conquer Club are both ways to do that. Personally, I think Warzone looks a little bit better. Just like the graphics kind of looks nice. And it's fairly obvious that it's Risk. Yeah, you would just invite your friends, and then you can play with your friends. And that is the last of the 27 different games we have in this list. And it took just over an hour.
So who's going to play what?
And why is it keep talking and no one explodes?
Obviously,
Thank you.
you like games, Tim. I mean, when you see all your list.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's a lot on here. A lot of these, so this is, again, not really part of the class, but basically Humble Bundle. Basically, they just bundle a bunch of games together, and if there's one of them I want, I mean, like if I wanted BioShock, it'd be $10, and then I would get, like, you know, 8 games or whatever. So not all of these are things that I specifically bought. But yeah, I've played a couple games. Is there a good source for game evaluation when you're not around? Great question. So let's just click on this one. So if I go to the iPhone store, I can see that it has about 4.5 stars, 4.4 out of 36,000 ratings. It won an editor's choice. It has positive reviews. So this one sounds pretty good. That's one way to evaluate. Personally, on computer, it's a little bit easier because if you use something like Steam, you'll have recent reviews, and I can click on that, and I can just see what these people think of the game. But generally, if you search for a game like Words with Friends 2, just slap review on the end of that, you can just read reviews. So like Time Magazine did a review of Words with Friends 2. But, and you can always ask friends and family for what they think of certain games.
That's great. Does anybody have any more questions? Otherwise, we'll end the recording. Oh, Deb has one.
Can any of these be played on an iPad? Yes. Every single phone game can be played on an iPad. So if it says iPhone down here, it can be played on an iPad. Also, the games that are in the browser like this, like playingcards.io or Minecraft or jigsaw puzzles, those can also be played on the iPad.
Okay. Well, thank you, everyone. I'm going to stop the recording now. I will send it out as soon as we get it uploaded to YouTube so that everyone will get a link. And next week we have Gmail and contacts. So Tim's going to show us how to keep our inbox from the black hole that is mine. Hope to see you there.
Yep.
Take care.
Thank you both.
I'm going to